Hello everyone, myself Dr. Sharmila Pandey, faculty in chemistry in the School of Sciences, Sage University, Bhopal. Today I will discuss the introduction of the magnetism of the transition metal complexes. As we know, an electron is a charged particle which is negatively charged and it revolves around the nucleus and spins on its own axis. A magnetic field is generated due to orbital motion and the spin of the electron. So this electron, all electron has an orbital motion as well as they have spin motion. So the spinning of an electron in an orbit is very much similar to flow of electric current in a closed circuit. And therefore, an unpaired electron is regarded as a micromagnet which has a definite magnetic moment. The ions of the first transition series, starting from scandium 3 plus ion and ending with zinc 2 plus ion, have progressively 0 to 10 electrons in the 3D cell. So we can see the first and last members are diamagnetic, but all the others with intermediate number of electrons are paramagnetic and diamagnetic. So it might be supposed that these ions would be paramagnetic or diamagnetic depending on whether they have all paired electrons or they have unpaired number of electrons. Generally, diamagnetic compounds are those which tend to move out of a magnetic field. Example is nitrogen. Paramagnetic compounds are those which tend to move into a magnetic field. Example is oxygen. Extent of paramagnetism is measured in terms of the magnetic moment mu. And we can see the larger the magnitude of mu, the greater the paramagnetism of the compound. Magnetic moment has contributions from spin and orbital angular momentum. A non-spherical environment may lead to quenching of the contribution from orbital angular momentum. However, the spin-only magnetic moment survives in all cases and is related to the total number of unpaired electrons. So we can say mu effective is equal to mu spin-only value. We can see it as root over 2s into s plus 1 or root over n into n plus 2. So this is the formula we will use to calculate the spin-only magnetic moment value for all. So if we see, so remembering this formula, if we see titanium 3 plus, vanadium 3 plus, chromium 3 plus, manganese 3 plus, and iron 3 plus, we can see the number of unpaired electrons. So for titanium 3 plus, it is 1. So the total spin, that is capital S, is half. N is the number of unpaired electron, S is the total spin. So number of unpaired electron 1 and S, that is the total spin, is half. So the predicted mu effective value would be any data you fill, any formula you use, either it is 2 into root over S into S plus 1 or root over N into N plus 2, we will have the value of root 3, that is 1.73. For vanadium 3 plus D2 system, it has the number of unpaired electron 2, total spin 2 unpaired electron. So total spin will be half plus half plus to 1. So the mu effective value would be, if we put this value in this formula, we will get it will be root over 8. Chromium 3 plus D3 system, so the total spin value is half plus half plus half, 3 by 2, or the number of unpaired electron, we can see 3. So the predicted mu effective value will be root over 15. Manganese 3 plus, it is 4, number of unpaired electron 4, total spin is 2. So the predicted mu effective value would be root over 24, that is 4.90 Bohr magneton. For iron 3 plus, number of unpaired electron 5. If A's value is 5 by 2 and the predicted mu effective value would be root over 35 equals to 5.92. Now, if there is a possibility for contribution from the orbital angular momentum, then mu would be equals to root over L into L plus 1. This portion we get from the orbital contribution plus 4 in S into S plus 1. This we get from the spin contribution. So this we have already seen here. Now for if there is a possibility, so L into L plus 1 under root, this term will be added. For a given value of the orbital quantum number L, the magnetic quantum number ML can have values from minus L to plus L. And here capital L is the sum of M. So for d orbital electrons, we all know m equals to 2, 1, 0, minus 1, minus 2. From here, we can calculate the capital L. If there is only one electron, so the capital L value will be plus 2. This corresponds to this. If there is 2 unpaired electrons, it will be 2 plus 1, that will be equals to 3. If 3 electron, then 2 plus 1 plus 0, then also it will be 3. If 4 electron, 2 plus 1 plus 0 minus 1. So the number of the value of L again will be 2, and so on it will continue. And from this ML value, depending if we know the number of unpaired electrons or paired electrons, we will be able to calculate capital L. If we know the capital L, we will be able to calculate the magnetic moment value, that is the effective magnetic moment value, which will be the sum of the orbital contribution from the orbital angular momentum as well as the contribution from the spinning motion. So now, so we can generalize that in D1, D2, D3, D8, D9 complexes, they have same spin state and all are paramagnetic. D1 only 1 unpaired electron, D2 only 2 unpaired electron, D3 only 3 unpaired electron. Now, in case of D8 or D9, here we can see D8 and D9. Here we can see 3 paired electron, 2 unpaired electron in any case, whether it is high spin or low spin. D9 also 6 paired electrons and 8 paired electrons, 1 unpaired electrons, whether it is high spin or low spin. D10 and D6 low spin, we can see D10 all electrons are paired. D6 low spin, that is strong field complexes, we can see all electrons are paired. So these two cases, they will be diamagnetic. So low spin D6 and D10 complexes are diamagnetic. In case of other D4, D5, D6, D7, the number of unpaired electrons are different in high spin and low spin octahedral complexes. Like I can see in D4, in low spin there is 2 unpaired electrons, but in high spin there is 4 unpaired electrons. So the mu spin only value will also be different for these two. D6, D5 also. In low spin, 1 unpaired electron, in high spin, 5 unpaired electron. D6 low spin, as we have seen, there is 0 unpaired electron, but in high spin or weak field complex, there are 4 unpaired electron. D7 low spin, 1 unpaired electron, high spin, 3 unpaired electron. So like this, if we are able to know or calculate the number of unpaired electron, then putting the value of n in this formula, we will be able to get the value of mu spin only, that is the value arises from the spinning motion. And also, if as we will know the number of unpaired electrons in the d orbitals, so from there we will be able to calculate capital L also, because we know the m values for 5 d orbitals are 2, 1, 0, minus 1 and minus 2. So from this formula, if we put the value of capital L, which we can easily calculate from the number of unpaired electrons, if we, after seeing whether it is a high spin complex or low spin complex, and we will also know the number of unpaired electrons, so we will easily calculate this value and we will be getting this mu effective value for any transition metal complex. Now here it is given mu spin only. We are considering if these are the number of unpaired electrons, this is the value under root L into L plus 1 plus 4s into S plus 1, considering the orbital contribution. So spin motion plus orbital motion. If we only consider spin motion, then we will get only this much under root 4s into S plus 1. So the values we will get like this. And in most cases for 3D metals, we have seen the values are matching with their spin only value. So here we can say K3FeCN6, that is potassium ferricyanide, has a magnetic moment of 2.3 Bohr magneton, which is a D5 low spin complex with 1 unpaired electron. Okay. FeH2O6 3+, this has a magnetic moment of 6 Bohr magneton. So there is some deviations also, where we can say that there is contributions from some other things which are not considered in this discussion. Okay, so thank you.